Hi everyone, and welcome to Playtime Online. This is Institute of Play's webinar series that allows us to connect and share our work with you. I'm Amna Siddiqui, the moderator of this program. We'll be spending the next hour talking about the commercial sandbox game Minecraft, making a case for why this game can be a terrific learning tool for teachers, mentors, and parents alike. We'll also be sharing a variety of examples and approaches to playing Minecraft in the classroom, so be sure to stick around for that. Now, let's meet today's speakers. We're joined by 3 educators and game designers, all who are players and strong advocates of Minecraft. So, could everyone introduce themselves and touch on your educational work with the game? Brendan, do you want to start?
Sure. So my name is Brendan Trombley. I'm a game designer at Institute of Play, and I work inside of Quest to Learn, the school that we helped found based on game-based learning. And I've worked with Minecraft and Quest to Learn basically since we started doing it. I helped create a multiplayer server for our students to play on kind of informally, and I've also helped spearhead the movement to bring it into the classroom and teaching teachers how to use the game and incorporating it into various types of domains. Oh, I've also been the Minecraft club person, so during lunch and after school I've also done Minecraft with the students.
Cool. Don?
Yeah, I'm Don Miller. I work as a learning designer at the Institute of Play, and I've learned a lot about Minecraft since I've started here, especially from Brendan. And you know, I have a background in education, so I work with the teachers to help shape the curriculum. And since I am a fan of Minecraft and a player, I've kind of seen those opportunities in certain classes where Minecraft had been a best fit, and worked to help teachers realize that.
Awesome. And James?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I'm an English lecturer based in Japan. I've been here for about 7 years. I've only been using Minecraft for the last 8 months. I basically have a seminar class once a week where I have 20 to 25 students. They come to the class and we do various English speaking activities within a virtual world, Minecraft of course, and the server that we play on is based online, so maybe a little bit different to a lot of educational settings where it's usually on a LAN. Ours is based online, so we have English speakers from other countries come in and interact with the students, and that's pretty essential if you're learning a language. So yeah, that's how I've been using Minecraft.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. And I'd like to remind our viewers that at any point you'd like to participate and ask one of our speakers a question, just click on the blue participate text under this video on the right-hand side. We'll be spending the last 15 minutes or so of the webinar answering questions during our Q&A portion. And for those viewing the live broadcast, if at any point you'd like to join our Hangout and share your own personal Minecraft method or story, just send us a note using the same form and just specify you'd like to be part of the Hangout along with a 1 to 2 sentence summary of what you plan to share. And if your story is approved, which is very likely, we'll send you the link to the Hangout. So let's open up today's discussion with you, Brendan. Could you give us a little bit of history behind Minecraft as well as digital sandboxes for our viewers who may not be entirely familiar with what either are?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've got just a little bit of a visual I'm going to share while I do this.
Great.
So Minecraft is a digital sandbox game, as Amna talked about. A sandbox game is kind of a genre of game that puts you into a world without necessarily a specific goal, but just gives you a lot of different options and ways to affect the world and to be creative and to kind of choose what you want to do and create without sort of a lot of constraints. Minecraft specifically is a really great sandbox world because it just does a really interesting level of sort of simplification to kind of what a real life situation might look like. If you look at my screenshot here.
Yeah, Brendan, can you actually zoom in just a little bit?
Perhaps.
Is that possible?
Oh, okay. Let's try that again. I'm not sure how to zoom in
Okay, that's fine. I mean,
okay.
I can see it. I just want to make sure
Gotcha.
everybody else can. Cool.
So Minecraft is a world that is made completely of blocks. Every single bit of the world is made from a cube-shaped material. Like it could be wood, blocks of wood, or stone, or dirt, or we get more advanced into like brick and like wooden planks. And you basically have the power in this game to remove those blocks from the world and then put them in your inventory, possibly exchange them into different types of things, and then put them back into the world in any formation that you wish. So players usually start off with, if you see the top left screen, see the kind of natural background going on. That might be the kind of world you start with, and then through your player actions, get to create things like these structures that we see, like a modern house or a city, or even like a pirate ship, or in the bottom right, it looks like a kind of like a crazy space station or futuristic kind of construction. And so that's what Minecraft does. It basically gives you unlimited possibilities to sort of design a 3D space with very simplified mechanics, almost like building with Legos or something. This game has been around for like 2 or 3 years now. I think originally the alpha was in 2010, and it has like a very, very strong following, a very strong community, and the code of the game is actually relatively easily accessible, so there's also a very strong modding community. People have added to the game that are not the original developers, and I'm going to talk about that a little later. We've used one of the mods called Computercraft that allows you to do some really interesting things with the game around computers and programming and things like that. Was there anything else?
Yeah, just to clarify, what kind of things do you do as you're playing? And is there a way to win? And are you playing with other people? Can you kind of talk about those things? Yeah,
absolutely. So when you're in the game, you're in a first-person view inside of your own character, and you get to move around. You're kind of constrained by, kind of general things like you're constrained by gravity, how far you can jump, how fast you can walk, and you go around and basically left-click and right-click to dig or build, and you can also access certain menus to help create new items. And this can be a single-player experience or a multiplayer experience, and it can also have different levels of challenge. You can use what's called creative mode, which gives you basically unlimited resources and the ability to move around the space much easier, or survival mode, which pits you against a lot of different environmental hazards, such as fall damage, lava, monsters. And that's a very interesting situation because what it does is provide you kind of a problem set in which to design solutions around. You actually have to play the game, build structures, design systems to overcome the obstacles in the game and make gameplay more kind of controlled by you. You might set up a building to shelter yourself from enemies, or you might set up like a farm to produce more resources. So it's a very interesting kind of problem-based motivation to do like your own kind of iterative design process.
Great, thank you, Brendan.
Sure.
So, Don, could you talk about connected learning and what it is about Minecraft exactly that makes it a strong example of connected learning?
Yeah, sure. So one interesting thing about Minecraft that you'll see is that you have people playing that are of all ages, of all backgrounds, and at all different times. So and when we think about connected learning, we often think about students who take an example of learning beyond the classroom. And Minecraft serves as a good example of this, because if we talk about connected learning as being production-centered, it's a sandbox world. You can do just about anything you want anytime. You can create, you can experiment, you can tear down, iterate, and make any structure, and with more complex mods and even things like redstone that are available in Minecraft, you can make machines and you can automate tasks. So there is this experimentation that is really strong. But much more than that, you also have the idea that, as James said earlier, he runs a server for his students. So there's this idea of this kind of open network where students can connect anywhere. They can connect in the classroom. They can connect after school. They can connect around a common goal, right? And they can try to co-create a world, or they can go on adventures together. And it really does kind of serve to meet the students' interests, wherever they are. If they just want to, explore a beautiful landscape, if they want to try to create something mechanical, they can do what they want. And another thing that you see is people creating communities around Minecraft. And I think one of the most interesting things aside from even the communities, is how popular it is for screencasts and videos that appear online. We were out at the Games Learning and Society conference last week, and somebody came to our workshop and later said, my son is just obsessed with Minecraft videos on YouTube. He watches them all the time, and now he's starting to make his own YouTube videos. So you see students that are taking something like Minecraft. Not only are they interested in working in Minecraft, but it's getting them into a side goals of media production. They're learning how to make their own screencasts, edit video, insert sounds, insert links into YouTube videos, to forums and to websites. So it's more than just kind of the community around the game, but it's that students are kind of using or their interest in Minecraft is sparking a lot more in them, and that's why I think it just makes it a great connected learning tool.
Great. Does anybody want to add to that, or Don pretty much nail it? Okay, great. So James, what are some of Minecraft's strengths and shortcomings when thinking about how the game is able to accommodate meaningful learning for students?
Okay, I made some notes about this, so if you'll excuse my obvious reading of pre-prepared notes.
Go for it.
The thing I wanted to talk about was Minecraft. I wanted to separate it from other virtual worlds that have been used a lot in the literature in the past. Two of the main genres of virtual worlds are MMORPGs and social worlds. Social worlds are often, what's the word? The daihyo. The Japanese word is the daihyo. The English word is the representative. The representative of the social world is Second Life, and this world has been used a lot in the media, in the literature, sorry. The other end of the spectrum is the MMORPG, which is often represented by WoW, World of Warcraft. Minecraft is neither of those, so it's important to talk about that first of all. A social world, if no one's familiar, something like Second Life, it is a huge blank canvas, a lot like Minecraft, but it basically revolves around two main activities: fashion and sex. So it's not great. It's a very spread open world. Things are not connected together. People are only interested in building, clothes and stuff like that, and having ridiculous sex with trolls and stuff. So yeah, I don't have a very fond image of Second Life personally. So that's the social world. It's basically geared towards social interactions. You also have World of Warcraft, MMORPGs. These kind of games are very, very game. They are games. They have a very, very set progression system, a hugely intricate kind of character progression system and leveling system, and they're polished things. But the thing with MMORPGs is that the end user has no real direct saying in the content. It's all made by a team. So Minecraft kind of sits in between there. It has a very vague, very subtle narrative which takes you through, and so that's kind of like the MMORPG. And then like a social world, you can create your own content. So it kind of just sits nicely in the middle for me. It has enough to keep people motivated to play because of the the gameplay itself, but it's not completely void of ludic elements and game mechanics. So yeah, so that's what Minecraft is. But what does it bring though? Some of the things that it brings compared to the other games that we just talked about is that it has an amazingly simple user interface, which means that people can get straight into it, and their cognitive capacity is not taken up by, oh, what does leaked mean again, or what does looking for a group mean again. There's not that kind of difficult discourse. It's just really simple, so they can use the majority of their brain on the activity that you give them, rather than actually trying to play the game. So that's one of the main advantages of it for me. Additionally, can I go on?
Yeah.
Okay. Additionally, Minecraft. Let me have a look. What did I write here? There's practically a zero learning curve. It's really, you take it at face value. You punch a tree, you get wood, you make something. You punch another tree, you make something else, you dig. It is quite complex if you go into it, but it's very, very simple to get into. It's not difficult. And again, talking about servers themselves, things like social worlds. It's like a vast server network. Again, MMORPGs are also these vast server networks with thousands and thousands of players. Minecraft is scalable, so if you want to use it with 5 students, you can just have a tiny little server. If you want to have it with a whole school, you can make a server-sized school. If you're like me and you want to open it to the world, you're still free to do that, but I am the admin on that server. You know, Second Life, or, you know, the Linden Lab, I think they're called, that owns the company. They control the majority of the stuff that happens on the server. But for me to own a server on the internet, I can do what I want with it. I can ban people who I don't like. I can have people, you know, do certain things, and so you get this kind of culture where with Minecraft, where servers crop up that have very specific goals and very, you know, particular interests and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty good. A safe environment for learning, basically.
Cool. So let's get into some actual illustrations of Minecraft. So we can actually see examples of how the game is being used as a learning tool. So James, we should just go back to you, and okay. Let's hear about your Minecraft Language Academy. Could you talk about what it is and where the idea for it came from?
Okay, sure. Minecraft Language Academy is a server on the internet. Well, yeah, it's an open server, public server. It started out, if we go to the history of it, it started out as a little LAN-based server with just 4 or 5 students in a classroom. And I was thinking, well, if I'm teaching these kids English, wouldn't it be better for them to speak to English speakers? So what happened is I posted on Reddit, because I know Reddit has its own public servers. I said, would it be okay if my students came on to your server just to, like, interact? And they said, well, there's a lot of trolls and stuff, so you're going to have to watch out for that. But yeah, no problem. But one of the replies that I got was just from a guy called Steve, who owns a company called, what's it called now? Red Ranger Hosting. It's like a hosting company. He said, oh, James, your project sounds really interesting. Here, have a free server. So he set me up, and I had this server. It was open to the public. I had to develop a few things, and yeah, the rest is history, really. The students increased in numbers. That wanted to learn English and wanted to play Minecraft, so I got more students coming, and I had a ton of foreign people, or, you know, people, English speakers, just loads of people wanting to learn Japanese, because I was advertising it as a server to help my students learn English, but also for you to learn Japanese. So, you know, I had all these people from Finland or the Netherlands or the US, UK, New Zealand, Australia wanting to learn Japanese, and I've been in Japan for a long enough time that I thought, well, I better teach these guys Japanese. So now it kind of, I have to juggle teaching English and teaching Japanese. But yeah, if I press my keyboard, it mutes, which is ridiculous because I'm going to show you around the world. But so if my voice cuts out, I'll just type in Minecraft chat. But I'll share my screen now if that's cool and show you some of the things that we've been doing.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. Let's get this. Okay, you should be able to see Minecraft now. Is that right? Can you see?
Yes.
So the first thing, this is, again, it's mainly for language learning. So if I go to, okay, so this is one of the most recent things on the server. It's the Ice Palace, and as you can see, it's in the middle. It's completely 2 halves, and it's basically like a. Oh yeah, that's really glitchy, isn't it? Me talking like that. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to just maybe pause in different settings and kind of give an overview.
Good idea. Cool. Good idea. So this place is basically an information gap activity. So there's 2 halves of the room. The information is shared between the 2 halves, and it's a 2-player activity. So they have to go in. Each side here, and then inside the first room you have this. What is the difference in these 2 rooms? So there'll be a player that side, a player this side. They have to find the difference between the rooms and then hit the sign. This is in Japanese. This is a Japanese learning activity. So yeah, they find the difference between the two rooms when they pass it. Obviously, communicating with each other. Once they pass, they get to go to this next place, which is even more difficult. You have 3 rooms each side, and they have to see which rooms are the same by saying, oh, for example, they can say things like, oh, you know, what color is your carpet? Do you have a creeper's head next to the chest? How many beds do you have? So by communicating, they can, you know, figure out what's the same, what's different.
So is this meant for one Japanese learner and one English learner to work together? So how that works?
It can be either. I mean, you can have 2 Japanese learners speaking Japanese. You can have an English learner speaking English and a Japanese learner speaking Japanese. I mean, it's totally flexible.
I guess the question I had is, I saw when you were out there, there's a large world that you have built out. Do you build all this, or do you have other people now? Because you said you got contacted by people from around the world. So there are many other people adding to this world, or is it you building this?
Of course, yeah. I mean, I've actually made hardly anything. Or this is like just people in the other players. They're interested in building activities and things for people to use. Like when this loads, this is a huge board of hiragana, which is one of the Japanese writing systems there. So this was just somebody decided to make that.
Nice, yeah, it's pretty amazing. It looks like a pretty well-organized town, and these are all activities then that, now, so the activities, though, do you design most of the learning activities and the people help you build, or do they develop some of the learning activities as well?
Actually, yeah, I mean, this one, the one that I just showed you, this ice palace, I came up with the idea, and I showed a small prototype, but somebody just went ahead and built the rest of it. There are a few activities that I built personally, but a lot of the stuff comes from the players themselves, which is great. So it's like a learning community. I think actually if I go to this player here, he's not online. Anyway, he's not even where he was. He was just working on a new project just a minute ago. So.
Now he looks like he's sleeping.
Yeah.
So people are building their own learning for themselves? Is that right?
If I show you this as well, look. We have a player called Minty who's learning Japanese with us, and this is one of the examples that I like to show a lot, is that he just covered his house in like notes of how Japanese verbs conjugate. So, for example, the past form, the te form, and all that. And this is like, he just did this by himself. No one told him to do it.
It's amazing. Now, can people help one another with writing things and conjugating things in different environments?
Yeah, of course. There's a very loose curriculum. Over here is where I made, this is one of the things I can say I actually made. It's basically, you have on the right, these buildings are for learning Japanese, so it's like level 1, level 2, level 3, and each floor has a different activity. And once you pass the activity, you get a rank. So if I scroll back here, you can see this fella, he has a JP1 rank, which means he's passed Japanese level 1 course curriculum, basically. This guy is an English speaker. He hasn't done any Japanese lessons yet. And, well, Kai's a teacher. There's other people with, you know, for example, EN1, EN2, EN3, EN4.
And so this server, what kind of add-ons did you put on the server to make all this kind of work?
Oh, loads.
This isn't just, you know, Minecraft out of the box, right? It's got additions to it.
Yeah, it's got loads of additions. World edit, of course, to copy paste these buildings, because I'm not really bothered about building each one every time. World edit, world guard. What else? Big ones that we use, Essentials and Group Manager. Group Manager is fantastic because we've basically created a ranking tier by ourselves. So EN1 and JP1, they get certain permissions. EN2 and JP2, they get more. 3 and 4, you know, it's that leveling system. We've kind of gamified it in a way, I suppose, which I don't really want to use that word, but yeah. And here's a new building that's being created. It's to learn French, so we're expanding.
Whoa, cool. Yeah, no, this is awesome. Like, I wanna go in and start learning Japanese now. I was only sort of familiar that you were doing language learning in Minecraft, but I didn't know what form it took until just now.
Anytime.
I'm really excited.
That's awesome. So people have been inspired to learn new languages aside from just Japanese.
Yeah. Well, I had a French Canadian, and I was like, "Well, you should make a French course." And he's like, "Yeah, I'll do that." So.
That's very cool. So I think we should move on to Don.
Sure.
James, that was amazing. Thank you so much. And I think for our viewers, you can find a link to his Minecraft Language Academy in the text underneath of the video if you're interested in playing.
Come on, learn.
So let's turn to Don. And Don, you wanted to talk about the kids at Quest to Learn and how they're using Minecraft as a learning tool.
Sure. Yeah, I was going to show some specific examples of things we've done even just the last few months here at Quest to Learn. And I'm going to pull some of those up now, do a screen share, and show these roughly in chronological order here. Let's see here. All right. I think that works, right?
Yeah.
Everybody can still see this video still? Okay, so before I play this video, I just want to talk a little bit, for those maybe unfamiliar, about how things work here. So I said earlier that I was a learning designer, and I work in Mission Lab. Brendan, who's also here, works as a game designer. Those are 2/3 of the team, and of course, I would argue the most important part of that team is the teacher. And so Quest teachers work with game designers and curriculum designers to help push the curriculum forward here at Quest to Learn. And sometimes, most of the time, hopefully, really wonderful things occur. And this, I believe, is one of those wonderful things. This is a tour that a teacher named David made here, and he teaches in a science class for 7th graders. And he was working on a unit on sustainability, and he wanted to have students learn about sustainable materials and sustainability and figure out a way that they could make prototypes of buildings, of actual schools. So this is a video that David made with Brendan. And it's a tour of a sustainable school that he created within Minecraft. And then the students were really inspired by this and went through and created their own schools. This video is going to be muted. We're not going to be able to get audio here, but we'll see here. He has the train entrance here that was created. Oh, this isn't playing. Hold on one second. All right. Hopefully this is actually going to play this time. He had the subway entrance here, and this is a super flat world in Minecraft that he created to have this built. And he has a tour here of this whole school. So as you get into the school, there's different levels. And this is called Quest to Sustain, take on the name of our school. So he had, has the students explain here things like, oh, well here, there is, a cafeteria, and all this food is grown right out back, as you can see, and we have the farm out there as well. So the idea was that this was going to be serving as a model video, and this is a screencast that David made for the students in Minecraft. And as we go upstairs to one of the classrooms, they have a smart board, and Brendan actually makes a guest appearance in this video. And we talk about how there is many things here are powered by natural systems, and when you go up onto the roof, there's a garden on the roof. There are also solar panels, and the nice thing about this is that it takes the idea of Minecraft and kind of uses it so the students can think about what am I going to do for these materials? How am I going to make them? How am I going to use them? So these aren't really solar panels in Minecraft, but they're made to look that way. The garden doesn't actually function, but it's made to look that way. There's a windmill on there as well. So the students were able to take their knowledge of Minecraft, which is vast, and the materials that they use every day to build in Minecraft, and instead model something probably much more detailed and much more advanced than they'd do if it was a 3D rendered model, or if the kids were going to draw pictures, or if the kids are going to make paper prototypes. So this was a really good use of this tool because it allowed the students to kind of take their love and knowledge of Minecraft and build models, of something that was in their science class. So that's just one example here. Next, I'm going to show these other pictures, and you guys are still with me, right? Good, hopefully.
Yep.
All right. So this is This is a really interesting collaboration that came about between two classes. We have a media arts class here, and as well as a history class. And the teachers collaborated to come up with a Minecraft project in the media arts class that was tied to the content and curriculum in the history class. So these are examples. These are just still pictures. I'm going to start to go through them of temples. And this is a pretty intense looking one. But this one, as you can see, is very symmetrical and very neat. And these 6th grade students actually were learning about Greek mythology and Greeks and the Romans in history class. And they collaborated in the media arts class to make temples to gods and goddesses. But the really great thing about this project is that all of the temples that you see here were created based on blueprints. So these were actually, this right here is an actual real temple, and I worked with the teachers and found examples of temples in ancient time here that were actually that were shown on Wikipedia, where we see the size. So we know if it's 70 meters by 40 meters, we know a block in Minecraft is 1 meter by 1 meter. So the students made all of these buildings to scale, which is really interesting because, again, using this to model something can be much more powerful to the students than maybe a paper prototype or something that they create with their hands, because they get to live in this environment. Here's another version of the temple, and many of them took to landscaping in very detailed ways. You can see the insides of temples have statues. They were able to make statues to the god or goddess of that particular temple. And all the students, went in just groups of 2 or 3 and did a lot of work. Here we have flowing water around the statues inside the temple. Here we have one of the statues on the inside. Here's another statue here. And you can see at the bottom, too, we have a student, Constantine, asking, who needs my help? So the students are actually really helpful because many of them are really great at Minecraft and love it and enjoy building. So this is another, I think, good example of a kind of non-traditional not using the sandbox game in a kind of non-traditional way to just build structures. And the last quick example I have...
Don, I have a quick question. How
Sure.
long did it take for the students to build that temple?
Surprisingly, going back to these, I mean, you can see the detail in them. They probably worked on this for... I can't tell you the exact amount of time, but it was roughly a week or so, but they're not meeting every day, and maybe for only 45 to 70-minute block periods. So they worked relatively quickly in pairs of 2 or 3. And one thing, Brendan, what did you say about this when you first saw these, Brendan?
I mean, up until this point, I've seen students build a lot of different things in Minecraft, and just the scale of these temples just blew me away. When kids generally they build like a small house or something and feel overwhelmed when they have to try and build something any bigger than 20 by 20 blocks. So the fact that these kids were, I'm looking at like these checkerboard floors and imagining them actually having the dedication and patience to actually place those checkered floors block by block, and it just blows me away. It's really kind of pushing the bar of what the kids are consider themselves capable of making in the game. That's what really struck me.
Yeah, I think it's true. And the last example here, and I was happy that Brennan was actually surprised about something in Minecraft for once. So last thing here is a coaster that 2 students made in Code World's class, which is a math class here. And you might be able to see here, we're going to start this video. It's very brief, about 45 seconds. Here you see it says positive slope 1. So these students actually worked, and this is again a screencast students made. They worked to, we're learning about slope in math. It always seems to reset. But worked about slope in math class, and they used Minecraft here to create roller coasters and actually measure the slopes. So you see we have slope of 0 here, and the track flattens out. And then next to each one of these, there's a little note that tells you what the slope is. And one interesting thing is that the students were just supposed to make roller coasters. They didn't need to do things like this. Some students made underground passageways. You can see there's blocks of lava that you think you're going to hit, and then you make a sharp turn. And more importantly, the students actually used mine carts, as you can see in this part, and made powered tracks with redstone So the carts actually function as complete rides. And here's the end of the track. And some of the other students actually made much more complex tracks where they had more scary things happening. Some of them made lines in the beginning, the entranceway to the roller coaster itself. So in every aspect here, we've really seen, like in David's class with the sustainable schools and with the temples, and here finally with the roller coasters, the students really go kind of above and beyond the expectations of the project, collaborating and working together, working after school if possible, and really whenever they can to get this work done, which is something I found to be pretty amazing, a reward. And even the teachers like David had said, like, this really taught me the power of using the design process and planning, and the teachers are actually empowered to use these tools, even though they were intimidated at first. I don't think any of these teachers before the beginning of this year had ever used Minecraft before, and like with David, he learned it literally like the week before. We reassured them, hey, the students know this stuff. If you come up with a concrete examples of what you're looking for, just like with James's students, if you have the idea, they're going to take that seed of the idea and build something much greater. So I hope I didn't go on too long there, but those are the examples I wanted to share.
Thanks, Don. So Brendan, let's turn to you. You and Don just gave a workshop at the Games Learning and Society Conference last week, and you were teaching attendees programming with Minecraft, right?
Correct. Yeah, we were using a mod of Minecraft called Computercraft. And what Computercraft does is it takes the normal game of Minecraft and adds a few types of blocks into the game. Computer blocks specifically, and robots. And both the computers and the robots are programmable with Lua scripting. If you know what Lua is, it's a kind of a very basic, easy to use programming language, but it has all the features of other types of programming languages. And so what that allows you to do is create computerized systems inside the game that can help you solve problems and complete tasks. So what we did was designed a kind of a demo world that included some computers, some robots, and some challenge-based activities to introduce learners to the concepts of Computercraft and to also teach them some very basic computer skills and programming skills. So I can actually take you on a quick little tour of that world that we did and show you some of the features of Computercraft. Let me just screen share my Minecraft. Sorry, screen share. Okay. So I'm actually going to turn myself into rounds. So as you can see, this is just a super flat world similar to what David used, our teacher. So it just kind of focuses the activity into like one small area. But yeah, very quickly off the bat, you can see down in this hole there, that's a turtle known as it's a robot known as a turtle. Things like floppy disks that allow you to transfer programs around different computers.
Hey Brendan, did the kids know what a floppy disk was?
Well, yeah, you're gonna have to. I guess we'll have to make sure we know exactly what that means. Our workshop was with adult learners, so they all knew what floppy disks were at least.
Okay.
This is some very all of the kind of the computer things you do here in Computercraft are very kind of old-fashioned, as you'll see in a second. So yeah, here's a quick little.
Oh, Brendan, I think whenever you hit the space bar, you mute yourself.
Oh yeah, it's the same problem if I use my keys to move around.
Yep.
Okay.
So maybe you can just stay in one environment for a couple of seconds and talk about it, and then move.
Okay. So yeah, This is a computer lab that I built, and so these are computer blocks in the game. This is a computer to the right, and this is a floppy disk drive. So I can actually throw my disk right in the disk drive. And if I open this up, I actually get a little OS that's it's all command-based, just like a kind of an old-fashioned computer. And so I can use kind of like Unix-style commands to look around. Like I can ls, see what's in there. I can cd. So one of the first things that people do is learn how to create their own programs. Doing like a Hello World program. You Here's a list of programs that are already built into ComputerCraft. This one's cool. It's actually that simulates playing Minecraft. So it's playing Minecraft inside of Minecraft. Just, you know, people are always joking about it. Minecraft is so flexible. Could you build Minecraft inside of Minecraft? And the answer is yes. So there's that. You get to learn how to write. Right.
Hope you're muted.
Okay, I'm just gonna move and then I'll start talking again. Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes.
So here's where I introduced learners to turtles. We have a bit of a disco floor here and 2 turtles kind of sitting around doing nothing. These guys are programmable robots, so they can actually be programmed to do a lot of things that a Minecraft player can do. They can move, they can dig, they can build, they can craft. But you have to program them to do these things using Lua scripting. They also have a few built-in programs. So in this challenge, the learner makes them dance on the dance floor. So I'm going to stop talking while I move and make that happen. So that's one of the challenges, or just one of the really easy introductions into the turtles. So the turtles have their own built-in programs, and like I said, you can also write your own. So the very last challenge in this is to program a turtle to navigate a small maze. So I'm going to run over to there and then start talking about that too. Okay, so here if you look by the green block, you have a turtle and a distrap, and you actually use various commands like turtle.forward, turtle.turnright, turtle.turnleft, and so on to have the turtle navigate from the green block along the pathway to the yellow block. And so it was in our workshop we had learners doing this challenge very enthusiastically, trying out different solutions. A few people even kind of hacked the system and made the turtle go up and to the right and then back down without following the path. And so this was just a really cool kind of challenge-based way to get you to learn some very rudimentary programming concepts, such as how it's done sequentially, from the first line down to the last line, how different commands are case sensitive and very sensitive to spelling. You have to work on a little bit of your debugging skills if things go wrong. And so this serves as a really great introduction to ComputerCraft, and also for our workshop learners, kind of a model way to then teach their students how to use ComputerCraft to start them on the path of programming.
Brendan, I was wondering what the response was to the game. How did the adult learners fare?
We had a very there we go. We had a very mixed level of people. So we had people who were very experienced with Minecraft, some people who had never seen the game before in their lives, young and old. We had people who have been programmers before, people who have not. And so everyone was highly engaged and definitely very motivated into doing it. And some people got farther along the challenge than others. At the very end, we asked just kind of a quick feedback of thumbs up, thumbs middle, thumbs down, and a whole bunch of thumbs up went up in the air, and it was a very satisfying thing to see.
That's awesome. So, do you have anything else to show us? No, save and quit. Okay, great. And these materials from the workshop, they're being released soon. Is that right?
Yeah, so we are going to release the Minecraft world and some information on how to install ComputerCraft. And in the future, we'll also be sharing out curriculum materials as we continue to develop a programming curriculum around ComputerCraft. That will probably happen later this year as we use it in our digital media class, the same sort of class that Don was talking about earlier. We'll be having our teachers help us develop that curriculum together. and we'll hopefully be able to share that in the coming months.
Cool. So I want to have a very brief, because we're running out of time, a very brief open discussion about concrete examples of Minecraft in the classroom. I was wondering if we could talk about the potential for student goal making and self-expression when playing Minecraft, and anything else that you guys are interested in talking about.
Who wants to go first?
I guess I could start. I mean, I guess I could start basically, you know, one interesting thing is, like Brendan commented earlier, we never really saw what happened. We never saw James's language learning stuff until today, you know, the actual run through, but many of the same things that we found here at Quest, I think we've seen in James's servers, which is very interesting, right? Is that, you know, I think the most important thing is that students are really brought into Minecraft in a way that is very complete, very fast. Like he said, there's a very simple user interface. You get the hang of it really quick, but then from there, the possibilities are like limitless. And I think that's the one of his biggest strengths, because students can learn in 5 to 10 minutes, and then there's more and more blocks and more ways they interact and more to build. So right from the beginning, once you understand what's going on, we have almost like unlimited potential. And that's one nice thing that we see a lot too. I've worked after school with kids and electronics and other things, and sometimes you have that kind of male-female split. But I've seen Minecraft appeal equally, you know, to people, just young students of both sexes, all ability levels, and because I think there are almost unlimited things you could do. So I think that's one of its strengths, and I think that the second biggest thing I just want to reiterate from earlier is the kind of community aspect and the connected aspect of it all. And just like you saw in the pictures, we have students always asking, hey, do you need help with this? Can I help you with this? And that doesn't always happen in a normal classroom, right? You don't always have students working on math problems and jumping at the chance to assist each other. So even if you're doing something that is related to learning, students are so motivated by just the fun of the game that they want to help each other out. And I think those are some of the most positive things that we see when using Minecraft here. If anyone else has anything to add to that, or any counters to that.
Yeah, and I mean, as Minecraft usage develops at our school, I kind of foresee that, you know, at the moment, Minecraft is being used specifically as a tool mostly for student authorship. You know, the teacher sets up a space, just kind of an empty canvas for the students to build something on. What may or may not happen in the future is that Minecraft can also become a tool not just for student authorship, but for teacher authorship. Similar to perhaps how I developed this space for learning computer craft, a teacher could create their own space that demonstrates a concept. Perhaps, you know, building a model of, like, say, the interior of a cell, or maybe setting up a few of the, like, the NPCs to. I experimented recently setting up 2 colors of sheep in 2 separate containers, sheep inside the game, and then I knocked out the barrier between them, and it kind of became a model of diffusion, where areas of high concentration moved to an area of low concentration. So the blue sheep and the red sheep mixed, and so they were equally blue and red sheep in both sides. And that's like a biological concept that you could model as a teacher inside of the game. And so hopefully we'll see more and more things like that as well. So teachers being creative, students being creative, and everyone using the kind of open, infinite possibilities in like any possible way that they can imagine.
Yeah, and Brendan has been really helpful, you know, in fostering that relationship here at the school. We've had a couple open sessions recently for teachers here at Quest to Learn where they can learn to play Minecraft, and honestly, everyone that's played has enjoyed it. I think that's one of the biggest things I encourage, you know, everyone to do. If you haven't played it, just try to play it, because I think you hear the students talking about it, and people might be baffled by all the vocabulary, but like you said, there's a very short learning curve, as James said, and you can pick it up very quickly. So if you have any doubts about using it in your classroom, you should just try it out, because it would make a big difference. Do you have something to show us, James?
Yeah, James, I see that you have Minecraft queued on your screen.
Yeah.
Or are you just bored and playing?
No, from what Brendan was saying about teacher authorship, yeah, exactly. I was showing earlier the university buildings right over the other way there, but it's literally a curriculum. It starts very simple. I'll go back there. literally a curriculum to go from simple Japanese to more advanced Japanese, and each building has a particular lesson in. So this is kind of like what Brendan was saying, where teachers kind of make stuff. Similarly, this is, like I was saying, the English version of that. Another thing that I was going to mention is this.
Oop, you keep muting yourself. I don't.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
This is a town that we kind of all built together. Everyone's got their own house, but then I took this town and threw some traffic lights up, some signals, and got students to direct each other about. And talking about concrete examples of things that students can do, this is something that they can do that they wouldn't be able to do so easily in the classroom. You know, they can direct themselves around a real virtual street that they've built themselves and have some engagement with. So yeah, that's one of the things that they can do. Another thing that I was doing, well, I think my situation is slightly different again, in the fact that what I do, I'll put my face back on. What I do each week with my students is I have them make small groups, and I have a native English speaker join the group, because obviously I'm teaching language. So I have 4 Japanese students and 1 English speaker, and I say, right, build a temple. So this week they've been working together about building a temple together, and they have to decide where it should be and blah blah blah. Then the week after they'll be introducing it. So it's genuine communication with an English speaker. That's one of the big things it has going for it. Working on a project together, especially from my own situation. Yeah.
Great.
Questions?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, exactly. I think it's a good time to move on to the Q&A portion. So our first question is from Chris, and they ask, how often do you recommend students play Minecraft? Is there an observed daily or weekly max?
I can talk about that.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Well, the fact that my server is online and there's always English speakers on there, I encourage my students to play it as much as possible, because they're going to be interacting with English speakers, and they're going to have English coming down their ears because we use TeamSpeak, and they're going to be able to interact with English speakers. Maybe for Dom and Brendan it's slightly different.
Yeah, I mean, a Quest to Learn, there's kind of a larger general philosophy around the usage of technology, which is simply that use the technology when it's appropriate and never use it just for the sake of using it. So when a project comes along that Minecraft is really good for, we will have the students use it, and they'll probably use it for the majority of their class time during that project. But there's plenty of other times where Minecraft might not be the most appropriate usage, and therefore we will not use Minecraft, and we'll use some possibly other technology. Maybe we won't even use technology at all, and we'll use pen and paper. So it's very situational, and so in that sense, it's not necessarily about specifically limiting their time. It's just using the appropriate tool for the appropriate task.
Okay. Cool.
Cool. Don, anything or?
No, I'm good for now. I think that summed it up.
Okay, great. So the next question comes from Beverly, and she asks, I think it's so interesting James has created his own Minecraft world for others to play in. How can I go about customizing Minecraft environments for my students?
Well, I think me and Brendan have both got experience doing this, because he's had to install Computercraft in his own environment. But yeah, there's things called plugins, and maybe Brendan's best to talk about it. But you have to insert extra things into the game, really.
Yeah, there's actually one really useful tool for teachers is Minecraft EDU. It's a educational version of Minecraft that takes a lot of the legwork a lot of the technical expertise that's required to do this kind of thing normally, makes it more accessible to teachers who might not have as much experience. So it creates a very user-friendly way to set up a multiplayer environment right in your classroom, and the students can connect to it very easily. It also gives you, as a teacher, a lot of moderation control. You can freeze students, you can teleport them around, you can allow them to alter the environment or not, and it also even has building tools for the teacher. If you want to, say, build some sort of experience, it makes it easier. It allows you to do very big actions very quickly, as opposed to going single block by single block. So Minecraft EDU is a very, very good tool. It's worth looking into.
Great. So the next question is from Jake. And he asks, I am a history teacher with limited computers in my classroom. Can students work in groups when playing Minecraft? If so, can you describe a scenario of how they might work together?
Yeah. Do you want me to go?
Get it started, man.
Yep, do it.
Okay. Well, obviously, if you're working in a group, one person plays, the other people direct him or her. And once a particular objective has been cleared, they go back, discuss a game, the next person plays. So it can be a kind of round robin of who plays, but they all kind of discuss the actions that that person takes.
Yeah, and I guess I could add a little bit to that. I mean, like we showed some of the work here that students have been doing at Quest to Learn, like building the roller coasters, for instance, or working on sustainable buildings. And I think building, I mean, I can't speak as much for some other modes, but building can be something that maybe you could do with pairs. We have one student planning, or both students planning ahead of time, and then one student building, and they can switch off like that, you know. But there is always that kind of interest where students are going to want to be the one on the computer. So I think it just takes a lot of scaffolding ahead of time, and definitely some really good planning and discipline around, you know, what the other student is doing while the one student is working in Minecraft. But I think building is one of the activities in Minecraft that can be shared if players are of equal proficiency, because they can switch off if they have a goal already preset about kind of what they're creating.
Great, thanks.
I have one more idea. I mean,
sure.
This is something that we haven't necessarily done ourselves, but it's possible if you had a limited amount of computers to perhaps make that kind of like a station or something that's happening while other things are also happening in the room, and maybe like students are taking turns playing Minecraft and all either like working in the same space or something like that, or each like working on a project in a smaller group and only have a small section of that time to do it, and then they switch off, do the other activity while the other students are doing Minecraft. So it depends on how you want to kind of structure your classroom.
Cool. Thanks, Brendan. So we are out of time. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. Join us for the next episode of Playtime Online, Wednesday, July 10th, as we help celebrate the summer of making and connecting by looking at new visions for learning as SimCity is making its way into classrooms across America. For updates on Playtime Online, please sign up for our mailing list. Just click the Join Us at the top of this page. Thanks for watching, everyone. And if you like what we're doing, please spread the word. Have a great afternoon. Bye, everyone.